I'm learning this Bach's Italian Concerto, and I thought that would make a nice little Music Monday program for you, and it causes me to look things up and think about the music and, in this case, the language. So I want to say buongiorno to everybody. We don't have that in music. A lot of times, in Italy, they also say salve. Salve means hello, and of course, ciao means hello. Music uses a lot of terms because really that's where Western music first got started, and it was documented. The Italians and the church, they started writing music, they started writing the words down and the music down, first in Latin and then in Italian. So a lot of that carries over even to today. The father of Western music, though, most consider is Bach, who was German. So how did how did the Italian influence Bach? It must have, because he kept writing in Italian everything, and he wrote the Italian Concerto. The Italian Concerto is imitating what he thought Italian music would be like. And there's a big part for the orchestra, and then there's a small, or a quieter part for the soloist. So we're going back between these two sections of music, and that goes further. We're going to talk later about influencing Mozart and how this style of music, this wasn't really Bach's style of music, this Italian Concerto. He did like 3 of these. He did a French overture, German overture, I think, but they're all kind of the same vein. So there's 3 movements in this concerto, and again, he's imitating Italians, and you have 2 different sections, 2 different main sections. The first section starts like this. My pedal wasn't working. Then the second section is where the soloist comes in. In today's concertos, we think of the concerto as having a soloist, and back in that time, it was either a soloist or a smaller section. So this is the soloist part. Comes in again. What's really nice in this Bach piece is there's that really strong theme. Bum, 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 bum. And again, in a lot of Bach's music, you don't get that. But in the Italian style, you do. Let me just make sure if I'm going to go through all three movements. Yeah, we might not do all of it. So the next movement is a slow movement, just like a Mozart or a Beethoven sonata. And we'll talk about that. And in this case, again, this is the Italian Concerto. If you listen to the Summer Concerto by Vivaldi, each of the four seasons is its own little concerto. So there's a slow part in the Summer Concerto, and this is based off of that. There's two notes that keep going in the Vivaldi's piece too, and they're in a different place, but you can tell that Bach was giving homage to Vivaldi. And in this movement, the solo plays the whole thing. So the right hand is the soloist, and it's a very lovely piece of music. Oh, I was going to turn off my phone. That's okay. Let me silence. Too blind. How are things going? Ethan is here. He's my sound guy. Anybody in chat?
I don't think there's anyone in stream.
Oh, maybe we're not streaming.
No, we went live. Like it said go live up in the top corner.
Oh.
Right before you not before you started playing, but before you started
speaking.
Yeah, you said like 2 or 3 words, and I was like, I should hit that button.
Oh, okay. Last time we had some more. This is weird. It's in the middle of a day, so yeah. It'll save. So next Monday, you'll probably be back in the evening. But last week I had 10 or 12 people.
Oh, that's
so
pretty
and again,
good.
as we can waste time because people will find the live stream maybe,
Yeah.
and it'll come through.
But
so maybe I can see it on my phone now. Maybe?
Yeah, but it's everyone's probably at work or at lunch.
Yeah.
Right now, so it's like.
Or maybe we'll see. We'll have to see how it goes. All right, so this next movement too is Andante, which is Italian, and I just figured out today, when we were kids, that we learned that Andante meant walking, to make it walking speed. It actually, when I looked it up today, it means to go. So like, you could say sto andando, something, it means I'm going to the store. So it's part of the word to go. And I'll play a little bit of this. This is a lovely piece. People think that Baroque music doesn't have any emotion in it. Listen to this. It's wonderful. Really, I wasn't sure if I was going to play the whole thing through or not. But nice. So that's your the Andante of the Italian Concerto. Very Italian, if you ask me. And then the last movement. I always just check my things. Da, 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 da. The last movement is Presto, which was a brand of a toaster or a toaster oven. And again, always thought, what does presto mean? Or magicians use it sometimes. They go presto, and bam, it appears. So I thought, like, it means immediately, or it means now. But like yesterday, I was learning Italian, and they said, arrivederci a presto, which is how you say goodbye, see you soon. So it could also mean soon. And this is the third movement of the piece. And again, in Mozart's and other people's, but in Mozart's piano sonatas, there's always a fast, flashy third movement, and Bach has it here, right in the Italian Concerto. And you could see this influence that Italian music had on Bach, and then later on Beethoven, on Mozart and Beethoven and everybody else in music. So this is Presto, and again, it's kind of the same thing. We have a big opening with full orchestra, and then it gets to be kind of quiet. And the quiet part is for the soloist to show off a little bit. Yeah, right. needs a little more practice, but that's the idea of Bach. And really, there could have been the full orchestra and then a set of soloists in the middle. And that made the concerto. Another thing he would call this, or some people would call this, is a concerto sonata, which brings us into the next part of this little chat here we're having. So we have mentioned Mozart quite a few times, and just making sure I'm kind of covering my bases. So yeah, when I'm playing Mozart's piano sonatas, I see a lot of correlation with the Bach, and I see a lot of correlation with the Italian influence. And Bach's music really didn't survive past his lifetime because people went on. Bach wrote a lot of preludes and fugues. They quit writing that, and they started writing piano sonatas and symphonies. And the Sinfonia, I believe, was Italian. And then also Bach wrote a whole lot of church cantatas, and they stopped doing that a lot, and they went to opera. Mozart wrote a lot of opera, and Handel too. He wanted to write opera, and he wasn't that good at it. I can't remember. Anyway, but the Italian influence was there. So let's look at this Mozart. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, was the Van Cliburn competition, and people were watching that. We were all watching that on TV, right, or on YouTube. Instead of this, we were watching Van Cliburn people. And one of the Van Cliburn contestants played this sonata, and I was like, oh, I know that one. And it's been a while, and I've only gone through it a couple of times. But I want to play it for you so you can see this correlation between the Bach and the Mozart. So this starts off kind of small, but there's definitely two sections. Let's see if we get there. Here we go. We'll start. This is a Mozart Sonata, Köchel 330 in C major. Yay! All right. Sound familiar? most of what I get also when I was thinking, when I was just playing this, with the Italian style is the virtuosity that it takes with all those scales. And we had that back in the Bach's Italian Concerto too. So a lot of that probably comes, there's more like scale work where Bach in the German music had more motifs works, and that motif stayed the same. Where in Italian music you had these different sections. You had a loud section and a soft section. And we had that here, even though this was true sonata allegro form, we still had those different sections like that we had in the Bach's Concerto. Remember in the slow section, it was called andante, which means going in Italian. In the Mozart sonata, we have andante cantabile, which is singing. And I should have looked up so I could have a phrase to like, we sing this song. But I'm sure it's there. And let's just, I don't know if it's very short. It's only 2 pages. But let's listen to a little bit of it. And again, Bach had that very free style in his andante movement, and this is very similar. It's kind of a very free style. there's the andante of the Mozart sonata. So nothing's happening out there in YouTube land?
We have 2 whole viewers.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Again,
All right.
we will pick a different time slot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably for the best.
You know, the one guy that I watch most, I'm embarrassed, he's like an organist in Germany, and he's on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But in Germany, it's like he's on from 10 to midnight. Yeah, and he has a lot of people. I don't know about going that late, but he has a lot of followers, and he sells tickets. They're voluntary, but he has a link to go buy tickets. He sells a lot of tickets.
He doesn't force them to buy tickets.
He almost does.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he really sits there and says, "Oh, the thing, if you want to do a request, he'll take a request only if you buy a ticket." Yeah. But he'll tell people he's not starting the show until another person buys a ticket.
Oh, wow. It's an interesting way to do business.
Yeah, but he's got a lot.
I suppose.
But anyway, I really want to thank Ethan for being here and doing the sound. And we had technical issues at the beginning, and I think I would have given up probably. But so thanks for persevering and getting us on the air. I guess you could say this is on the air.
It is.
Yeah. Well, it's on the Ethernet. The last one, and again, I don't know if I'm going to make it through all this. I should have practiced more yesterday. I took the day off, and this morning I was like, shoot, I was going to practice this a bunch. This is the final movement of the Mozart Sonata Kerkel 330. Just like the Bach movement had this flashy, fast, it's a party third movement, Mozart usually does the same thing. This thing is called allegretto, which usually means not too fast, a little lively. If allegro means lively, allegretto, a little lively. The way I think Mozart, it wasn't in, people didn't use this in music, but I think he could have meant this as a scherzo, which means joke in Italian. So you say, sto scherzando, it means I'm joking. Anyway, and Schubert and Schumann, a lot of people use, I think Beethoven called music scherzos. And Mozart, I don't think he did, but if he could have, this is not allegro. All right, yeah.
It's joke music?
You'll see. He wrote down allegro, allegretto. He wrote it down. It's not so fast, but it's pretty darn fast.
All right.
It's lively. Yeah, this is, anyway. Happy practicing. I'll practice more. Anyway, so that's it for today. I hope that people got something out of it, learned a little bit of Italian and the Italian influences, and maybe there is a connection between Bach and Mozart through those Italian influences. Thanks again to Ethan. Thanks to people for watching. See you maybe next Monday. Probably next Monday. We'll be here. Huh?
Patreon.
Oh yeah, visit to support me and us. I have a Patreon account where premium content will be, and you can be a member of a Patreon account. I think it's $5 or $7 a month, and follow us there and like us. Okay, and subscribe to the channel and all that. Thank you.